You are watching MTG Cribs on MTGO Academy featuring RYANCRABBS.
Thank you for joining me today, everyone. Today I am piloting the Amulet of Vigor deck that did pretty good the last Pro Tour. I'm not actually playing that list, but I'm playing the same deck. And if you're not familiar with the deck, this is what it does. It plays a 1-drop artifact from World Wake, Amulet of Vigor, that says, whenever a permanent enters the battlefield tapped under your control, untap it. So, this deck plays a lot of lands that come to play tapped. So when you play them, you get untap them, which seems like a little innocuous. Like, okay, so you get like they become normal lands basically. I don't have to have the drawback of waiting turn to use the mana. But the main land we're using in the deck are the bounce lands from the Ravnica block, the original one. Now originally these were made to be like 2 lands. They come into play tapped, and you have to bounce a land, and then they add 2 mana. So they evened out to basically being like it's 1 land, but it counts as 2 lands. They have to bounce a land, so you have the same amount of mana as you would if you played a normal land. But since we're cheating with Amulet of Vigor, basically, we get to untap it. So it nets us a mana. So on the turn we play, we get an extra mana, even though we have to bounce a land. So we're behind next turn, but we're good on the turn we play it. And what we do is we actually get to play more than 1 land a turn. We're playing Summer Bloom, which is a 2-mana sorcery that got reprinted in 9th edition that says you can play 3 additional lands this turn. Now normally you don't have that many lands in your hand, or you shouldn't, but with bounce lands it solves the problem because you just bounce itself. So I play it, untap it, add 2, bounce it. Play it, untap it, add 2, bounce it. And you do this 3 times with Summer Bloom, and you do it 2 more times with Azusa Lost but Seeking. This allows you to play 2 more lands each turn. So after you add like 6 mana to your mana pool, we're going to play something that costs 6 mana. That's either Primeval Titan or Hive Mind. And with Hive Mind, it's almost an instant win because we have all these packs from Future Sight, and they cost 0, but you have to pay a certain amount next turn, or you lose the game. So it's basically like a credit card. You get the effect now, but you have to pay for it later. But with Hive Mind, we each get the effect, and your opponent didn't get to choose when to cast it. So a lot of times you play Hive Mind Summoner's Pact, and there's a good chance your opponent just loses it during their upkeep because they have to pay it, and they can't. Well, obviously you're not going to play unless they can't pay it. The other way to win is through Primeval Titan. So we get 2 lands, and it's usually Boros Garrison, if we're going for the attack route, with a Slayer Stronghold, which gives it haste, vigilance, and +2/+0. So we get attack, and when we attack with Titan, we get 2 more lands. And those lands are usually a Vesuva, which copies the Boros Garrison, so we have more red-white mana, and we get a Sunhome, which can give a creature double strike, which allows us to attack for 16 damage if you have enough mana on the turn to play Titan, and almost assuredly a victory next turn. Or we can also like search up Kabira Crossroads, gain life, Temple of Mystery to scry. One of the most other common things we do with Titan is we actually get Tolaria West, which has Transmute, so we can discard from our hand and search our library for any card that costs the same as Tolaria West, which is 0. So any land in our deck or any pact. And then a Simic Growth Chamber. So bounce to Tolaria West. You then tap 3, transmute it for either a land that can do something for us, a Pact of Negation to protect our Titan, a Slaughter Pact to clear the way, or just another Summoner's Pact to give another Titan. Because more often than not, we're going to win through Titans, and we just need to have a string of Titans and just keep playing them over and over and over again. So that's the idea of the deck. Just have a Titan as fast as you can, and as often as you can. So the other cards the deck plays is Serum Visions to help smooth out your draw, Ancient Stirrings to help dig for Amulet or bounce lands, because the deck cannot do anything without bounce lands. It's really, really hard to do things without them. You can like have okay draws without Summer Bloom or Amulet, but without a bounce land, it's almost impossible. This also gets Tolaria West, which can get a pact, so Ancient Stirrings has a lot of versatility. And we already went about Summer Bloom and Azusa, Hive Mind, and Primeval Titan. So that's the main deck. It's pretty complicated. There's a lot of interactions with it, and this deck's I found I've been playing with it for the last about 2 weeks since I got suggested in my last Modern video to play it, and I found out it's a lot harder than what it appears to be. It's very complicated. The math, because you have to be almost exactly all the time. You don't usually have extra mana. So you have to be exact about which lands you're bouncing, which lands you need to have in play so you can copy with Vesuva or pay for your packs. And so it's really complicated and it's very easy to make mistakes. In the sideboard we have a couple more lands. We have a Bajuka Bog, which is good against like graveyard decks. Also Storm turns off Pro Tour Ascension. A Ghost Quarter for Tron decks and decks that try to ramp with cheating lands like us. Chalice of the Void is good against combo. Choke is good against the blue decks. Makes islands not untap. There are 3 Seal Primordiums and Creeping Corrosion. These are all very good against Affinity, and these are also good against like Splinter Twin. Engineered Explosives for creature decks. Pyroclasms, Fire Spouts. Wormcoil Engine, because in some matchups, like Perennial Time will never live. So Wormcoil Engine just adds a resilient threat. It's really good against Jund. It's hard for them to deal with it all and come out ahead afterwards. Then Epiphany Needle to deal with problem permanents. So that's the deck. We're going to join a daily event, and we're going to do the best we can. This deck has very fickle with its draws. Sometimes you just have a perfect hand. Sometimes like it's turn 5 and you don't even have 6 mana. It's just terrible. So I expect to mulligan a lot, but have fun, because it's gonna be crazy. Alright, so that's the deck, and we'll see you at the start of round 1.